I'm Lee Spencer with the RacinBoys, and I found Joe Piette at the track for a Team Penske pit stop. What was it, a pit stop review or?
Kick off the season pit stop competition.
You guys look pretty sporty out there. You got to be proud of how the teams look this early in the season.
Oh, I think the off-season has been very good. The guys have been practicing faster times than they ended at Homestead last year. Now, I understand that it's not the racetrack, so we have to take that in consideration, but being out here actually at the Speedway and doing pit stops on pit road with their respective drivers, the times are pretty good, so we're pretty excited about it.
How long have you been doing this, Joe?
This would be my 31st year in racing, but don't hold that against me.
And you started out doing what?
Started off with Dave Marcus back in the late 80s and doing a little bit of everything. Mechanic, road crew, tire changer, and of course with a small team like at a Dave Marcus's shop, you just do a little bit of everything. So it was kind of cool because you didn't do the same thing every day.
How have you seen the evolution of pit stops on these race teams?
Well, it's incredible because when I started, we had 7 guys over the wall, and if you did a 18 or 20 second pit stop, it was really good. We got into the high 11s, even some 10-second stops a couple years ago, and then they made the 5-person rule over pit wall, and stops at Daytona last year started off in the 15s and 16s, and by Homestead we were doing 12. So it's unbelievable, the evolution of the pit stops and the athleticism, is that a word, of these pit crew guys nowadays. It's incredible, and a lot goes into training them, but they are really good.
You're recruiting a lot of these guys out of college. A lot of them were high school, college athletes. Do you kind of earmark a certain body type, a certain skill set for a particular area in the car?
Well, sure. We have some guidelines that are somewhat flexible, but, common sense tells you that you don't want to take a 6'4", 240-pound ex-lineman and probably teach him to change tires, right? You want a little bit smaller frame person for that. So, but honestly, Lee, it has become a big person sport. I changed tires actively for 20 years, and I've never weighed more than 150 pounds. I don't think I could do it nowadays the way they have to do things. So it's evolved that way for sure.
When you did go to the 5 men over the wall as opposed to 6, wait, do I have that right? Was it you went from originally 7, then to 6, and last year was 5? The times of the pit stops went up dramatically than what it had been with 6. What did you start with, say, at the beginning of the season, and what did you eventually get the pit stops down to, and what range are we in right now?
So when we all went to Daytona last year with the new 5-person style, we were seeing all kinds of 15-second pit stops, 16-second pit stops, and that lasted for about 2 weeks, and everybody started getting better. And by the time we were 3 or 4 races in, there was a lot of 14-second stops, and throughout the year we started seeing some 13s, and at Homestead last year to end the season, we actually saw some cars get in the 12s, wow. Live at the track stop. So a 12-second stop right now is really good. I feel like it's going to continue to go down as we get through this season again because everybody's just getting more used to doing the 5-man style stops. And I think by Homestead this year in 2019, you may see some low 12 and even some high 11-second pit stops.
I heard also going from 6 to 5, there was an increase in crew member injury. Anything specific that seemed to be a reoccurring that you have taken measures to avoid in 2019?
Well, so going from 6 men over the wall that could do pretty much anything, any position, to 5 men, but in addition to the 5-man rule, the fueler can only fuel. So that eliminated that position, pulling tires and things like that, which we used to use them to do that to help us out. So essentially right now you have 4 people changing tires and making adjustments. So what that equals is each person has to do so much more. And you're right, we did see a lot of sore shoulders, elbows, knees, even back issues, because we're just asking these guys to do more than we've ever asked them to individually before. As far as, trying not to get them hurt or things like that, we keep an eye on the reps that we're doing in practice, and maybe do more drills instead of actual live stops. Like we used to just bang out a lot of live stops, and just keep up with the guys. And what's really neat at Team Penske, as well as most big teams, is we have physical therapists that come in 3 days a week, and we have a full therapy room, and the guys can get treatment as needed too. So we're just aware of it more than we ever have been.
I guess like what you and I have watched over the last 3 decades, it's becoming a young man's sport in more areas than one.
It absolutely is. And again, you talked about the athletes a little earlier, and yes, it seems like if a person is athletic, they can pick up on these type of things a little bit quicker. So that's kind of the way it's going. But there's still some good old country boys that can do some really fast pit stops out there.
Good to hear that part of it, that we're not losing our NASCAR charm. Well, listen, Joe, it's been great. Appreciate the fact that we finally got together to knock this out, and look forward to seeing you in Daytona.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it as well, and it's nice to see you back, in the country.
Thank you.